we start, my name is Nicole James and I'm the team leader of our early childhood community capacity building team at Link Health and Community, Latrobe Community Health. So this afternoon, I'm going to talk about the early childhood approach, is how to support children and families under the age of 9. And then I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Alan, and he is going to talk about how to access the NDIS for over 9 years of age. So we're going to start the session. Yeah, again, if you do have any questions that you want to, please feel free to pop it in the chat function, and I'm more than happy to share my email if you have any questions. So I'm going to start this session by acknowledgement to country. So I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands in which we are all on today and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Victoria Partners in the community are community-based organisations that work with the NDIA, which is the National Disability Insurance Agency, and delivers the NDIS, which is the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Early Childhood Partners provide early childhood support for children younger than 9 and their families, and the local area coordination, which is our LAC partners, support people from 9 years and older. So this is where Alan and myself come into play today. So I will obviously be speaking about children and families under 9, and Alan is within the LAC space, which is from 9 years and older. This is part of the Victorian Partners in the Community document. So this is just communicating again that there are different partners in the community based on what region where you work, where families work. So it's just depending on the different region and which partner they would actually access for support. This document is available online and I'm more than happy to share, but this is a bit of a snapshot of Metro Melbourne. So you can see that we have the service area, you've got the early childhood partner and the LAC partner. So it's a really helpful guide that if you are working with families within different communities, or if you have friends or family and they're not too sure who the partner in the community is, it's a really helpful document. So I'm going to talk to you about what is the early childhood approach. I think that's a really good question to ask, and how do we actually work with families and children is probably one of the main questions that we get asked. So our early childhood approach is how we support children younger than 9 and their families. The early childhood approach helps children younger than 6 with a developmental delay, or children younger than 9 with a disability and their families to access the right support when they need it. We tailor our supports to their children's individual needs and circumstances. And children younger than 6 do not need a formal diagnosis to get support through the early child approach, where there are concerns about their development. And this is a really big capacity building piece that we do with families, young children and communities, is a lot of the time families think that children do need that diagnosis, but under the age of 6, they do not. It can be a developmental concern. We're here to support families to make informed choices about the available services and supports to get the best outcome for their child. So looking at the different supports around their children, what are they currently accessing? What are their goals? What does that actually look like for children and their families? This is where obviously Alan comes into it. So what if the child is older than 9? So the NDIS also supports children who are over 9 through our LAC partners, so our local area coordination partners. And you can collect a Victorian Partners community from our stalls that we normally do, but obviously at this time it's going to be online, so I can send through that link. And Latrobe Community Health Service delivers the National Disability Insurance Scheme in these below areas. So all the little areas below, you can see that some overlap with the early childhood and then some just deliver the LAC. So that partners book is really going to be a really key, resource that you will use in working with different people within the community. Best practice in early childhood intervention. So within best practice, we have a few different best practices and we're going to go through them. So the first one is the family is at the centre of all services and supports. And that's really key in the knowledge, because you want families to understand that when they are accessing supports, that they are going to be the centre of all of those services and those supports. That services and supports are based on the family's need and choices. So we're not going to make decisions on behalf of the family. We're going to do it with them in conjunction. They're going to be able to pick the different supports and needs based on their child and their family's needs. All families are different and unique, recognizing that one size doesn't fit all, and every family has, different cohorts, they have different cultures, they have, different amount of people within their family. So really recognizing that individual and that unique approach. The child is included at home and in the community. The child practices and learns new skills every day. That's really important. Early childhood professionals and family form a team around the child. So we're actually going to support the child and the family together. Supporting building everyone's knowledge and skills. It's not just about building the capacity of the families and the children. It's about everybody around the child and the family. Service and supports work with the family on the goals they have for their child and their family. So it's that approach of connecting together and really, identifying that support need. And early childhood professionals deliver quality services and support, which we all know is really important in the space of supporting children when there are concerns or there is a delay or disability. Examples of community mainstream support surrounding the child and family. So it could be a community group, a community hub. You've got all the different council programs. You've got family members and friends, libraries, schools, supported play groups, before and after school care, long day care, kindergarten, preschool, maternal child health, and general practitioners. So they're just some of the examples. There's a lot more within the community, but these are just giving you a really good example of all the different supports that families can be accessing if they're not already. Developmental red flags. So developmental red flags within the NDIA is a development of a child under 6 years of old, and then it's got A, B, and C down here. So this is a really clear guideline of what a developmental red flag means under the Act. So this is really what's going to determine what pathway a child actually goes into within the early childhood approach. In the next few slides, I'm going to talk about what that looks like. So have a quick view over that. It's really important to know that, there are different criteria and eligibility requirements, but our teams will be able to support that. So even if it's just a developmental concern, that is completely okay. Our team will be able to support, and depending if that child does fall under the developmental delay, under the 6 years, depending on that pathway. This is where we're going to just probably talk a little bit more of examples, because it's really important to kind of have those conversations if you are having those conversations with families or friends or family. So some of the red flags that you may observe or be a concern to the parent and you. And so keep in mind, these are going to be really age range appropriate. So feeding, dressing, and toileting, what does that look like? Is a child able to hold a spoon, identify their own toilet needs, or can they put on a jacket? Is there sensory input challenges? Does the child wash their hands constantly? Or do they cover their ears when it's getting too loud in the room? Or do they remove themselves from group or noises? Are they able to communicate their needs and wants? Sitting next to other children, problem solving, puzzles, construction, building, memory, what does that look like? We have a supported phone referral and a supported electronic referral. Who can support a family with a referral? So families and friends, early years and education professionals, community and mainstream health professionals, and it could be yourself. So these are some questions that we get asked a lot, so I thought it would be handy to go over there. So do I need a parent consent to make a referral? Yes. So on the last page here, we've also got the phone, the email, and some helpful websites that might be of handy.
Okay, so let's begin. The NDIS provides funding to eligible people with disability to gain more time with family and friends, greater independence, access to new skills, jobs, or volunteering in their community, and an improved quality of life. The NDIS also connects anyone with a disability to services in their community. This includes connections to doctors, community groups, sporting clubs, support groups, libraries, and schools, as well as providing information about what support is provided by each state and territory government. The NDI delivers the NDIS together with community-based organisations across Australia, such as La Trobe Community Health Service. These are called partners. So how does the NDIS support people with a disability? We connect people with disability to supports in their local community. So let's move on to community connections. So what are community connections? The NDIS can provide support to all people with a disability, even if you aren't an NDIS participant. If you are between 9 and 64, we can connect you to information and supports available in your community. We call this community connections. So let's take a closer look at how a person would apply to the NDIS. To apply to the NDIS, you should contact your local area coordinator or early childhood partner. You can find a local area coordinator or early childhood partner near you on the office location page on the NDIS website. You can also contact the NDIS directly on 1800 800 110, who can connect you to a local area coordinator or early childhood partner near you. Once you are connected to a partner, you'll be assigned a My NDIS contact who can help you apply. They'll keep supporting you as you interact with the NDIS. Resources. The NDIS website has a significant amount of information on the NDIS and how it works. You can access these information fact sheets and others by visiting the NDIS website and searching booklets and fact sheets, or by calling them or sending them an email. That concludes my part of the presentation today. I'd like to thank you everyone for your time and invite any questions that you might have for Nicole and I.